Ben Nugent is the editor of Last Flight Abuja.
I'm editing. I'm helping Obi with his edit. Assisting Obi on
helping.
Lots of files everywhere, across multiple drives. We don't know where anything is. We don't know where
whose fault is
the
that?
audio is.
Whose fault is that?
It's no one's fault. No one's to blame. It's just one of those things. It's our job to sift through all the high quality footage and make something great from it.
How's it going so far?
It's going well. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure from above.
From God, I suppose.
A lot of pressure from above.
The story about finding Ben Nugent is a very funny one. Charles Thompson put out a notice on the internet requesting the services of an editor with enough experience but with no eye for money because we didn't have a lot of money to offer. And Ben replied, was one of the few people that replied to that advert. And as we scrutinized the CV of all the people that replied, he stood out with the amount of experience that he had, and he wrote a personal note to attach to his CV saying how keen he was to work on something different. And he was nearly getting lost in the world of advertising that is well paid but doesn't challenge the editor enough. So he was looking for a refreshing, and he just finished a film with some Indians, and he was looking to make another film and try and carve a niche for himself in editing feature-length films. So we knew there was a small percentage of the narrative of the film that had to be told using special effects and CGI. And the two guys that worked in this department couldn't have been more creative. First of all, Daniel Tarr. Daniel Tarr is a young man who's set up a new outfit providing special effects to TV and the industry in London, and he had, you know, he was part of the Mirror Boy team, the making of the Mirror Boy, so it was good to go back to him and say, look, I have this new project, are you interested? He's compositing the shots, he's providing the backdrop for the green screen that we shot. So the keying, the rotoscoping, the tracking, the mapping, he you know, the story, you see the film and you begin to wonder.
If you want to know what parallax is, just Google it. Alright, it's just the normal phenomenon where everything that's in front of a shot goes quicker than the things that are far in the distance, and that is something that we have to consider in composing the shots.
There is also Gold Danisa. Gold Danisa is the CGI, the computer generated imagery supervisor. This gentleman walked onto my set in Lagos and said, I understand you have CGI elements in the film, I can do it. And I looked at him and said, who are you? And he said his name is Gold. I said, what a name, you know. But the man came back the next day with some stuff that he'd done, and I told myself, with this man's enthusiasm, with his drive, he's the man to do this job. Even if he's not perfect, I'll work with him. My team will work with him to bring out the very best in him and help complement what everybody else has done in this thing. The first thing he came out with was what you saw on our trailer, the first trailer that came out of the film. You know, some of it went as perfect as we would have wanted them to be, but for the past 2-3 months, he's worked tirelessly on this concept, and he's worked from a place called Bonny Camp in Rivers State, Nigeria. I went to visit him, and this is what I saw. I'm in a place called Bonny Island in Rivers State. I came here on a boat, a 2-hour boat ride. It was scary. The Shell camp where I've come to meet a very important person in this project. His name is Gold Danisa, who's working in this environment. And the reason he's working here is because there are no power failures here. And because we're rendering lots of stuff, we need permanent power supply. And this is the only place in Nigeria that you can guarantee permanent power supply. That's why I'm here. With the flare behind me and this beautiful environment, I'm going to see Gold Danisa, who's weaving the magic of our computer-generated imagery, in other words, CGI. You'll meet him.
Hello, my name is Gold Olulade Danisa. I'm doing the CG for the film Last Flight to Abuja, and by CG we mean all the computer-generated effects, like the plane, explosion scenes, and have some greeneries or bushes, as you may, sky, the moon, the sun, the clouds, where the plane actually fly through, and that's basically what we're doing. It's really interesting, and it's nice to have a film like this for the first time in Nigeria, where you have CG elements incorporated into live shots. It's challenging though. We've not slept for like 3 days, me and Obi. He came all the way from the UK to come and see what we're doing. We're doing it live here, right here in Nigeria.
James Costello is the director of photography on this picture. James Costello is a very young man, I think he's 26 years old. He's worked on big projects in Nollywood, in Hollywood, and also has a Nollywood inoculation, and that was very important when I was making my choice for director of photography, because I was looking for somebody who has a wide, broader experience of international filmmaking, but who will not be afraid of the sun in Nigeria, who will not come and catch diarrhea on his first day of shoot and jeopardize my whole production. He worked with Jetta Amata on 2 films, Black Gold, or Black November as they call it now, and Inale. So he understands the Nigerian terrain, he understands the power failures, he understands the fact that we have a generator running next to the shoot, and he's experienced and he's young. You could see him hanging out of cars, and I was telling him, bro, your insurance doesn't include this kind of risks, you know. But he wanted to get his shot, and he would do whatever it takes to get his shot, and that's what you need from a director of photography. It was a huge honor working with the man, and this is the beginning. This is the first of many projects that I do with James Costello. Because we're venturing into action thriller genre, music became a very important aspect of the film. And with my previous films, even The Mirror Boy, I had to use library music. I didn't have a composer for the music. I just ran it by ear, listened to a bunch of sounds from online, and bought the one that I felt told my story, complemented my story the best. But this time, because of the genre of the film, because of the intensity of the action, especially towards the last 25 minutes of the film, I felt we needed original music. We needed somebody who would listen and watch the film and compose something fresh from the scratch, made specifically bespoke for the film.
Lukorodine, music composer to Last Flight to Abuja. Several years in business, many films done. Mostly good, I would say, but this tops them all. How about that?
Lukorodine was also, once again, part of the Mirror Boy team. He provided the sound design on the Mirror Boy, but this time I wanted him to go the extra mile.
I've tried to be very respectful to the cultural background of the film and the industry that it comes from, and so expect high octane music with the spice of African flavor on top. So you know, hopefully you like what I've come up with.
I indicated that we were going to look at some of the locations that we used in realizing the narrative of this film, and one of the most important locations was the Lagos airport. We shot for 14 days on airside next to the planes, so you have a sense of authenticity about this. There was a risk, there was a temptation to go shoot this in a studio, you know, build a set and shoot it, but it would never be the same. It would lack the trueness of the scenery. You know, the planes taking off, landing, you can shoot them as cutaways, but this time they're not cutaways, they're integral, completely integral to the narrative. And then there was this eye-opening experience of shooting in the streets of Lagos. I've shot many films in Lagos at a time when they would take your camera and run, and you have to literally chase them and get the police to, you know, even though we had security, but once in a while you get reminded that you are in Lagos.
Look at my director! I'm
in the end, when we wrapped, it was like one of the most poignant moments of my entire life as a filmmaker. Suddenly, everybody broke into song. I said, it's a rap, and everybody broke into song. They were hopping up and down, last flight Abuja, last flight Abuja. And it wasn't just the extras that were doing this. Omotala got involved, Jimai got involved, Alimu who got involved, Hakim, everybody was jubilant. And one lady, one of my cast members, broke into prayer and was speaking in tongues. And
we bless you, we honor you, we adore you, we glorify you, we magnify your mighty name. We say thank you.
And everybody gathered and hugged and kissed, and I asked them why they did it. And some of them told me that they knew at that point, at the point they walked onto the set, that this was a special film. And I hope that they are right, because we've given blood, sweat, energy, intellect, everything that we have onto this film. And we hope that you out there would appreciate this, support it, not just the film by itself, but support African films, Nigerian films, and give us a feedback. Tell us what you like and what you don't like. Tell us how to improve our craft. And we are learning. It's a slow process, but we're going to get there with your support. Thank you very much. And God bless you.
Uriah came from London. I'm Jennifer from Los Angeles, California. It's a wrap, baby. It's a wrap. We made it alive. Last flight to Abuja, okay? That's how we do it. That's how we do. And we're signing out. See you at the premiere. Live at Lagos International Airport.
I have been authorized by the board to take all of you to Abuja.
Abuja. I'm living that good life. I'm steady getting that money. Smile every time that I wake up. I'm living that good life. I love my life.
Welcome aboard Flamingo Airways Flight 212 to Abuja.
120 knots.
Flamingo Flight 212, you're clear for 340, Roger.
This is Flamingo Airline Flight 212. We have an emergency. Please.
I'm crazy. We're gonna survive.
Flamingo Flight 212. Can you hear me?
Where you getting close to a daughter? Open your eyes to where your sense of form of butter.